It's been 4 weeks since Amy Bradley vanished from the deck of a Caribbean cruise ship. But after a frustrating week searching the island of Curacao, her father and brother return home, empty-handed, once again.
You're leaving and you're going home, and there's nothing else you can do there. I mean, you've done everything you can do. It was just horrible.
Despite the unthinkable horror of their situation, Ron and Iva refuse to give up.
There's not many people that knows how this feels.
You're gonna have me crying, Iva.
Even through the tears and being anxious and being upset, we have got to stay focused and positive.
But the Bradleys' darkest hour is yet to come. On their way back home, Ron and Brad lay over in Miami. While there, they receive some chilling news from Iva.
The harbor chief on Curacao had called our house and told her that they had found a body and said it was a female, had brown hair, and he thinks that it was probably Amy's.
It just had to be just absolutely crushing to you.
I remember coming back into Chesterfield Airport. We were getting ready to land, and the wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour that day. And normally I'm not real crazy about flying, but that day, if it had gone down, it wouldn't have bothered me.
It will take investigators in Curacao 24 hours to ID the remains. The wait is excruciating.
I felt like we were about this big, and we didn't know what to do, where to go, how to handle things.
Finally, the phone rings. Though it's unclear whose remains authorities have found, they can tell it's not Amy.
What they found on the beach was not a female with brown hair. Actually, it was a male, and it was just a pelvic girdle and a piece of a spine that was determined to be for a man.
The Bradleys are relieved, but they are no closer to finding their daughter. Once again, they turn to the media for help.
It's just a constant thing from the time we got up in the morning until the time we went to bed at night, and it never stopped.
It's like a hole blown through you with a bunch of jagged edges. There is no closure until we find Amy.
May 1999. After watching a TV segment on Amy's case, a Canadian businessman by the name of David Carmichael calls the Bradleys with an astonishing lead. He also tells them he has no interest in their reward fund.
I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget it. He said, "I have seen your daughter. I've absolutely seen your daughter."
According to Carmichael, the encounter took place while he was scuba diving in Curacao, some 5 months after Amy vanished.
We were over in a small area where we wash off the equipment in fresh water, and I looked down the beach and I saw a girl walking down the beach with being flanked by 2 people.
At first, Carmichael paid no attention to the 3 strangers. But then, the woman did something bizarre.
The minute she heard I spoke English, she picked up her pace and was putting distance between her and the 2 people that were flanking her. Within what was probably seconds, she was within 3 or 4 feet of me.
According to Carmichael, just as the young woman was about to speak, the 2 men caught up to her and pulled her into a nearby cafe. David decides to follow them.
Something went off in my brain to tell me, gather more information about this person.
David notices a scar on the woman's right shin, and she also seems to be pointing out several tattoos. She has a Tasmanian devil on her left shoulder blade. David's description is chilling.
The credibility is unquestionable.
This time, this could be it. This could really be Amy.
He described her to a T, to include her tattoo.
I was 2 feet away from her. 2 feet. That's how close I was. I don't even have to think about it. It's 100%. It's not 99, it's 100. It's 100%, it was her. It was.
If the woman on the beach was Amy, then who were the mysterious men with her?
It made us wonder what type of situation Amy was in and who had or who was controlling her.
The Bradleys contact local authorities, who search the area where the encounter allegedly took place. They find no sign of Amy. But Carmichael's tip does convince the Bradleys that Amy has been kidnapped.
It was just a confirmation of somebody's got her, because she was definitely under control. She was not walking on the beach under her own free will.
3 months later, another man comes forward with additional information that seems to prove, without a doubt, that Amy has been kidnapped. The man's name is Frank Jones. Jones is a private investigator who claims that Amy is being held captive and that her captors specialize in one of the Caribbean's darkest secrets, human trafficking.
People take a look at human trafficking and they go, that's crazy. Go on the internet and type in human trafficking in the United States alone. It will blow your mind.
The U.S. State Department estimates that more than 12 million people worldwide are the victims of human and sexual trafficking. And Frank Jones believes that Amy has been forced into sexual slavery. He also believes that if anyone can bring Amy home safely, he can.
This is a guy that presented himself as a special forces guy that's rescued people like this.
But according to Jones, operations like these take time and tens of thousands of dollars. The Bradleys are more than willing to pay.
He seemed to back up what he was saying. He was following Amy. He knew where she was. I say to myself, hey, if that's where she is, let's get this done. Maybe today's the day.
When your daughter's missing, you're willing to do anything and spend any amount of money if you think it's going to help find her. So that's what we did.
Over the next year, Jones and his team of reconnaissance experts conduct operations in Curacao, staking out suspected brothels and drug dens, ultimately concluding Amy is still alive and is being held on the island. As evidence, they send the Bradleys surveillance photos.
Some of the shots were Amy's tattoo on her ankle. Another shot was her facing away and a tattoo on her shoulder. She stood like Amy. She was built like Amy. And so we thought it was Amy.
On September 22, 1999, Frank Jones informs the Bradleys that he's gathered enough intel to successfully extract Amy. But to do so, he'll need an additional $100,000. Ron Bradley borrows the money from his boss.
We were able to get the money together by our former employer, who said, hey, if that's where she is, let's get this done.
It seems the Bradleys are prepared to bring Amy home at last. Coming up, Beth Holloway ventures to Curacao to come to grips with a staggering turn of events that tests the Bradley family like never before.
There were some pretty evil things that happened.